Hello, everyone. Welcome to this webinar from the School of Data, Computing and Mathematics. My name is Tomas Trescak, and I'm a director of undergraduate ICT program. And today I would like to talk to you about the study at our school. Why would you want to study ICT? And give you a little bit of hints on which subject should you choose for your HSCs. Let me try the slides. So just to let you know, this webinar will be recorded, and so I will be answering your questions, and those questions will probably appear on the recording, right? So if you are not okay with that, please let us know as well. First, let me acknowledge the traditional owners of this land. So with respect to Aboriginal cultural protocols and out of recognition that its campuses occupy the traditional lands, Western Sydney University acknowledges the Darak, Eora, Darawal, also referred to as Tarawal, and Wiradjuri peoples, and thank them for their support of its work in their lands in Greater Western Sydney and beyond. So the topic of this talk is called Make It Happen, right? And we want you to make it happen with the Bachelor of Information Communication and Technology. So let us just question, why would we want to study ICT, right? Thing is, do we really need to answer that? But frankly, the answer is not so obvious. So what is actually ICT? When I asked this several years ago, barely anyone could give me an answer. Now, suddenly, almost everyone knows the answer, right? So ICT means information and communication technology. It's a term that encompasses two worlds, the worlds of computers and worlds of telecommunication, right? So it's a world where we study how to store, transmit, or access digital information. It focuses on the way that modern technology affects our society and how do we communicate. And if you come to think for a second, you know, how much of your time do you actually work with ICT technology? It comes a bit more obvious why would we want to study it, because it's pretty much your whole day you are working with this technology. So on average, we are looking at 34 years spending looking at the screen. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing or a sad thing or funny thing, but that's just the way it is, right? This was published in independent newspapers. So if you ask yourself also sometimes question, you know, how does this technology works? I'm not so happy, right? I would really like to improve it, right? I have this fantastic idea of how I can make this particular application or this website work, right? And you actually want to try to go into nuts and bolts of how stuff works, right? So you tend to go online and learn yourself something new in the technology. You participate in open source project and want to become part of this really exciting community in which new stuff is being released on, not even on a daily basis, but on the hourly basis, right? So study of ICT will enable you all of that, right? You will be able to look at the technology that you work with every day. You will be able to understand it and change it to the way you want it to make it work, right? You will no longer be dependent only on services that are provided to you. You will be able to create those services and make it work for you. In ICT, in university, we provide you with foundational knowledge composed of both hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills are those technical skills, right? Not just technical skills that you need for doing your job, right? Skills that you can learn along the way and improve of them. Soft skills are more related to the way you are, who you are, right? Whether you are a communicative person, whether you are a good planner, whether you're a procrastinator, all of those things, right? So during your ICT study, we will actually enable you to develop both soft skills, make you a better communicator, learning how to present in front of the crowds, how to write reports and so on, and also on the hard skills. I don't think I even have to mention this, but there are hundreds of career possibilities in ICT. It's one of the jobs that is the most represented in any of the job-seeking websites. And it's future-proof, right? Bell and the Institute for the Future estimated that up to 85% of the jobs that will exist in 2030 haven't been invented yet, and they will most likely be related to technology, ICT and technology jobs. Estimated is that 75% of the fastest growing occupation will require STEM skills and knowledge. STEM is science, technology, mathematics, right? So studying ICT will enable you to be future-proof, right? Enable you to invest in a career that has future and where the job market will develop to. So this is a tricky question. Like, so why would you study ICT at university? Just think for it for a second. If you come to think about it, there are so many cheap and free providers of ICT knowledge, such as Coursera, Udemy, Pluralsight. Those courses cost 15, 20 bucks, right? And you can do them in your own time with your computer, and you learn very similar knowledge than to one that university provides to you, right? You can also get involved with open source development, right? When you will become the part of the community that is working on similar problems as you are, right? And it's completely free. And there, with collaborating with other people, you will get comments on how your work is. You will get feedback from the community by using your technology or creating something called pull requests to see whether your code is any good, and it can become part of some larger package. This is all free, right? Costs you almost no money. So why would you study at university? Well, in university, you get the added value that comprises of being part of even larger and more intimate community where the knowledge is delivered by researchers, by state-of-the-art people who work on the state-of-the-art in that given field. You also get to participate in industry projects where a university is using its own network of contacts and make you work in industry environment as you study, right? Something called work integrated learning. You have the opportunity to work with these researchers and participate in their research projects, as I show you a couple examples later on. And this will certainly help you develop your career. In university, you get this more personal and professional experience working on your hard and soft skills that using some feedback that you would otherwise would not be able to get through just using online environments. And also with university, you get to have the opportunity to pursue your career in research, right? So collaborating with these researchers, knowing what they've studied, knowing what their background is, you get to develop yourself as a scientist and pursue your career, for example, in academia. So as you see, university is about knowledge from large part, but it's not just about knowledge. It's also about the networks and contacts that you make throughout your study and that you will make them work after you finish your study and pushing forward. It also provides you this cushion, these 3 years of your time where you can just work on yourself, working on the state-of-the-art research project, working on industry research, and start building your career during those 3 years as you study. Right? This would not be possible just sitting home and working on Coursera and Udemy courses. And of course, university provides you some level of trust, like being a university student and finishing your degree. The employers will get some kind of trust in you that you are able to accomplish complex tasks, such as finishing your study, and increases your possibility of scoring that first job. And why would you study at Western, right? There are many other universities. Well, I can tell you we have a state-of-the-art staff here, which is working on fantastic projects. We have a Professor Alana Maurushat, who is our cybersecurity expert, who works with renowned companies such as HackerOne and is dedicated to make you collaborate with industries throughout your studies using work integrated learning. We have Dr. Omar Mubin, who works in robotics and human interaction projects and is well known with working with students, and getting them involved in these exciting projects where you get to work with actual robots and program their artificial intelligence, use machine learning, and explore the ways how humans can work with the robots. We have Dr. Anton Bogdanovic and myself, and we do work on really exciting projects around artificial intelligence and extended realities. We worked with many students throughout our careers, and we've designed video games, 3D simulations, virtual realities in many different areas, such as simulating Aboriginal life in Parramatta area. We have Dr. Anupama Giniger, who is focusing on health informatics. So if you've ever dreamed of doctor but were scared of the guts, this is your chance, right? You can actually pursue your career in medicine, medicine-related field by working on health informatics. So enabling doctors and people in hospitals to do their job as best they can and make the best informed decision they can. And we have many other excellent researchers in this school. I didn't name all of them, but you get to work with them depending on your interest and what you would like to do in your future. As an example, this is Nathan. I got to work with Nathan since his year one, when we discovered his talent in programming after working on Clara World project. And since then, Nathan worked on at least 4 or 5 different research projects with us. He recently, in 2019, he won the Innovation Award in Virtual Reality Software and Technology Conference for developing augmented reality solution for holoportation. Holoportation is actually this future thing that you've seen in Star Wars, where R2-D2 is delivering a message to Luke Skywalker, where this princess is asking for Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? You have this hologram in front of you, and he actually built something like that using augmented reality headset, where you can communicate with the person that their hologram is projected in front of you. So you have this sensation of speaking with person face to face, being in the 3D space for you. He helped develop our student systems for teaching and programming, and he also helped us to build a virtual reality simulation of Aboriginal life in Parramatta for the Generation of Knowledge project. To this day, I work with Nathan, and he's been just an excellent help all along. And that's just doing their studies and getting known by doing an excellent job. So I hope I get you a little bit interested in this, right? So you get to work in fantastic environment with state-of-the-art researchers on exciting research and industry projects, right? That's something you really can't do just doing things online. So let me just give you a hint of what you should be focusing in your HSCs. So although, you might think that, computers, I just need to focus on IT technology. The truth is a little bit different. So if you come to think about what would you do in your future, right? So you say you would like to work in programming, right? So what's a programming? You want to program systems. Program is actually a set of algorithms, right? And to know how best create your algorithms, how to create them most efficiently, you need to have a mathematical knowledge. You need to estimate the complexity of the stuff that you do. You need to understand mathematical concepts of how to develop different programs. You choose to study networking. In networking, you need to understand how the topology of network works, how to make things work so that the communication is the fastest and the most reliable there is. This depends on graph analysis and graph knowledge, how the graph works. Again, mathematics. Modern cybersecurity is based on cryptographic methods, right? And information security, which again is mathematics. So I hope you see where I'm going. For example, I work a lot with developing virtual reality and computer games. And there was this subject in university which I had no idea why do I have to study. It's called linear algebra, where you work with matrices. Well, then I came to the field and started working on video games and found out that video games equals vector algebra, right? If you want to make a video games, you need to understand how vectors work, how matrices work, how Euclidean spaces work. Without that, it's difficult to make video games. Equals mathematics, right? So my best advice to you is to try to take the highest level of mathematics possible that you can handle, right? Because it will give you the edge in your study of ICT and in general, any kind of informatics, computer science, information systems. It will give you that starting point on which you can build the knowledge in IT and ICT. Universities tend to give bonuses for higher level HEC subjects. And although if you may choose to lose the bonus points if you do lower level math subject, so if you're even gambling for higher ATA works, you actually may end up worse. Right? So try to aim for that higher level maths, and it's a gamble that I think can really work for you. So the question is, can I study ICT if I have no interest in mathematics? The answer is yes, and hopefully will change your mind, right? Hopefully throughout your study will change the way you look at mathematics. Hopefully will show you that mathematics is very useful in study of ICT. So connecting that knowledge of ICT, working on real world problems will show you how maths actually make your life easier, right? It's done in a really straightforward way. It's not done, you know, we don't make things complicated. We really show you how maths can really work for you. And can I study ICT with mathematics standard? Absolutely. Yes, you can. It's just you will have to spend a little bit more time getting up to speed with mathematics in your first several semesters, right? So don't worry about it. And if you have no mathematics background, you might run into issues there and there, but still throughout your studies, you will build up that foundational knowledge. What I'm saying is that if you go with a higher level of maths, you will have also much less issues in your study, and you can focus more on the ICT part and less on the mathematics part. If you come with less mathematics, you will have to spend a little bit more time understanding mathematical background. So what careers do we have there? Careers we have there in ICT. Here on the right of the slide, you see pretty comprehensive list of possible jobs in specific groups of ICT jobs. So first, if we look at it, the first three are analysts, developers, and engineers. This is if you want to do programming, right? You can become programming analyst, designing the systems that other programmers, developers will work on. And then we have engineers. They are like a combination of analysts and developers. They actually think of engineering the system. So not only thinking about the software focus of the system, but also on the hardware focus of how to make it work. Then maybe you are interested in networking, right? Networking also needs its own engineers, right? There are people who work on designing and developing new topologies of networks. And there are people who could work on algorithms that work in networks, right? Making them more secure, more reliable, faster, and so on. Then we have a ICT management, right? And in here we have general managers. This could be, for example, a project manager, a Scrum manager. So that's people who are responsible for making teams work in a sense that they control the time on which they're spending on individual tasks, and they're making sure that the products are delivered on time. That's something called agile development. And then we have quality specialists, people who make sure that the systems are designed on time and in a quality that are required. Same goes for security, right? So we do have cybersecurity specialists. Here we can have penetration testers who test the resilience of the systems and the security of the systems. We can have cybersecurity analysts. We can people who work on the hardware and even the building layouts of buildings where you have ICT systems, right? Things that make workspaces even more secure. Then we have a support, which I'm saying, please no, try to stay out of support. You're studying university, not to spend time on a phone calling people about their support lines. There are, you don't need university to stay on the support line. It's a good job to take throughout your study to build your career, but try to aim a little bit different level. And then again, we have sales and marketing, right? This is the business part of ICT, where you can work on sales and marketing. If you're a good communicator, you understand the background, you might be excellent, you might excel in sales and marketing. And these people tend to work with analysts as well, right? To try to understand the demand of the market, and they work with analysts to improve their products, right? So as you saw, we had these very technical jobs, and we had also more like managing jobs, like people's jobs, and then we had more business jobs, right? So even by studying ICT, you can target even different groups, right? So not just these really programming things. Although ICT is mainly about development of new systems, but with that knowledge, you can really aim at various positions. So with that, I want to thank you for participating in this webinar. And if you have any questions, please let us know in the Q&A section, and we'll take it from there. So thank you again for listening, and we'll hope to see you in some other webinar organized by our amazing school. Thank you.